In central Minnesota, it is 19 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock on your Thursday morning. We welcome you into On Sara's Partyline. Partyline today brought to you on your Thursday by Wimmer Opticians and Chiropractic Connection. We are talking today with Stearns County Soil and Water, and that means Dennis Fuchs comes in studio. As Dennis, you have some different faces here today.
Yeah, we do. We've got Jake Cleys from the Stearns County Soil Water Conservation District.
That's a new face.
Yeah, it's a new face. He's been with us.
Me.
Yeah, new to you. He's been with the Soil Water Conservation District for, several months already. And he hasn't had an opportunity to join us on KASM. And it's like, hey, Jake, would you like to join us on KASM?
And his response?
Sure.
Boy, just roaring and ready to go.
And we also got Logan Berg. He's covering for Chris. And Chris has had some training this week, so Logan was gracious enough to come in. Logan's been here in the past, and you guys have probably met him.
We have. Logan, congratulations on the wedding.
Thank you.
She said yes, huh?
She said yes.
All right.
So I made it through so far.
That a baby.
Yeah.
Did Dennis, was it an open bar, and was Dennis made aware of the open bar?
I don't know, Dennis. Was it an open bar? Were you there?
I and my daughter were out on a side-by-side trip out in the Bighorn Mountains. I was not able to attend, which is good for him.
Yeah.
His liquor bill was a lot less.
Well, we ordered 4 kegs now because I thought Dennis was coming, and we only ended up going through 3. So, I mean, he saved me money, so there's that.
That was probably pretty close to the difference.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of figured.
Jake, if you could grab the microphone, we're going to grill you for a little bit here. Jake, you've been with oh boy, you've been with Soil and Water for a couple months. Dennis makes it sound like.
Yeah, actually, it was April 25th of 2022 is when I got brought on board.
So that's a lot more than a couple months.
That's more than a couple months, yeah.
I meant a couple years.
Yeah, Dennis is still trying to put a name to a face, but
Jake Cleys.
Jake Cleys, is that right? Jake, where are you from?
I'm from the Metro originally, Champlin.
Okay. And college educated at?
I had the privilege of going to NDSU with Logan, actually.
A couple Bison over here. And they beat South Dakota State last
No.
weekend? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Had to bring it up.
Hey, we're just lucky Chris isn't here to talk Gophers, Iowa. So anyway, Jake, always an affection for outdoors growing up. Had a science teacher who told you you'd be good at it, stumbled across this industry in college. How'd you get here?
So my dad was a pretty avid outdoorsman his entire life. He grew up on the creek bottom there in Brooklyn Park. And so, just was raised going out to the farm, hunting, fishing whenever possible. And so here we are now.
How do I make a career out of it? And next thing you know, NDSU, great school for that. What was your degree?
I have 2 degrees, actually. I have a undergraduate degree in natural resource management. And then also from NDSU, I have a master's degree in rangeland science.
Okay. Were you familiar with Stearns County before you took the job?
Well, familiar as far as I know, that's where St. Cloud was, and that was about it.
Okay. So in, 29-ish months here, getting to know the lay of the land, meeting local growers, it's been a nice fit thus far?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
What is your role at the moment?
So I'm a conservation planner, so I work a lot with different producers, landowners on enrolling their farm in different programs, whether it's state cost share programs through us at the SWCD or other federal programs through the NRCS with like EQIP and stuff like that.
Yeah, and keeping that great relationship with local growers and stuff like that, working to try to make their future better and brighter, and also working with the environment. It's a nice win-win for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone comes out on top in the end.
Yeah, Dennis, with you get a guy like Jake in here, and I know we love talking. I like talking to you about their relationship with the local growers, and just seeing these young bucks kind of pick it up and run with it. It's always fun and inspiring for you.
Oh yeah, it is. And watching Jake, we had Isabella come in here a couple weeks ago, and then Kelsey, I should say a couple months ago. My timeline's a little condensed. But and now Jake's, taking what he's learned the last couple of years and sharing that knowledge with these new folks, and it really accelerates the onboarding of our new employees, which is fantastic. The landowners win because they're getting some really valuable, experienced folks out there, and also the landowners have been gracious in making sure that they provide some input on the planning process on their end. What are your resource concerns? And they start sharing information, and if the young staff don't know, they'll come back to the more experienced staff and gather the correct information and bring that back to the landowner, which is very important.
Jake, when he talks about those landowner kind of give and takes, when you first got to town, meeting, handshaking, putting names to faces, but now all of a sudden starting to get that relationship up and running, talking the future with these guys and gals and growers. It's the fun part of your job, basically, trying to help them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable to go out to these different properties and meet with these different growers and just learn about them, learn about the history of their land, and then learn how we can all come together and share the vision of what they dream their land could be in the future.
How's the harvest been going for the people you're in your network right now?
So far, so good. I got a lot of guys that some of them do some custom work, and so they still got a couple thousand acres yet to harvest. So
there was like a 2-weekend period there where it seemed like if anyone had machinery, it was out. Everybody was out there doing something because we had pretty nice weather. Not for wood chopping last Saturday, but nice weather for the harvest there for that kind of first 2-3 weeks of October. They were blessed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dennis, when you talk with your network of growers right now, is harvest going well? Kind of like Jake said.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of folks are wrapping up soybeans, or most of the folks are about halfway or even further along with the corn harvest. The moisture contents are coming in right where they need to be, and it's not taking a lot of drying, which saves the grower a lot of dollars out of their pocket for buying propane and running the equipment. So that's been good. There's been a lot of progress. The yields have been pretty good.
Good.
considering that we had such
it's a weird year.
It has been
to have wet then dry.
Yeah.
And nothing in between.
Right. We came off a drought, and then we had all that rain in the spring and early summer, and then hasn't really rained much since the middle of August until now. Last week we had about a quarter of an inch, like you said, Kirby. We're trying to get some work done outside, thinking that it never rains. This will be a good Saturday to get some work done outside.
Wrong again.
Yeah.
Dennis, you mind if I talk NRCS for a couple minutes?
Yeah, I would love it. They're a great partner.
Here we go.
Great partner.
Logan Berg back in action.
Yes, sir.
What's new in the NRCS office right now?
Oh, we're just getting busy with EQIP sign up, and then currently working on CSP renewals. Environmental Quality Incentive Program, along with the Conservation Stewardship Program.
All right, trained on de-acronizing these guys.
I'm trying. I'm doing better.
I think you guys are military sometimes, the way you acronym everything. But
well, yeah, at a certain point, it just comes out as acronyms, and you get to go think back. What does that actually stand for?
What does that even mean?
Oh wait, that's what it means. Okay, yeah. No, we're getting to the busy time. A lot of people think that winter time is our off time. In reality, we don't really have an off time anymore. I'm certain, and Jake's kind of gotten thrown into the out of the fry pan into the fryer kind of deal.
When you talk EQIP, what are you seeing right now for potential for like the plant of 2025?
So basically what we're working on right now is basically we did all of our site visits for this upcoming year for contracting. So that's kind of how we start with the landowners. We go out and we visit them during the growing season after everything's planted before harvest. And like Jake was saying, we try to share their vision of what they want to do. And then now is our time to, we got their vision. We know where they want to go. How do we get them there?
Sure.
And so this is where the office portion of our job comes into play. Just after harvest here, and we'll still be working with them all throughout the winter, and then hopefully come springtime, we can get stuff implemented.
Well, and the beauty of it, Logan, is they're in that field every day, but now kind of seeing it, and you get done with the harvest, you kick your feet up a little bit for 4 seconds like a typical farmer.
Yep.
But now they can talk with you and maybe start putting that plan together, saying, we should maybe try something here because it's just not getting the results we were looking for.
Well, right, especially this year when we got that 7-inch rain across the most Stearns County. If people were fortunate enough to get stuff planted already, they didn't really see the effects of that 7-inch rain. But now if we have some little bit of gully erosion here or there, maybe we should talk about doing some water sediment control basins, or maybe we should do some grass waterways or anything like that just to help mitigate that. And whether they're farm over or if they just stay in the field, maybe that's something they should be looking at.
Chris likes to talk how the rain is a nice indicator where it's like, gosh, you're just trying to keep this dry. Yep. And maybe we should go back and there's an opportunity to change it into one of those avenues you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have a sign in the office which I always see. I look at almost every day that says "Hold your ground," and that's one big thing that I've been talking to producers about. Is back in the day when the Soil and Water Conservation District just got started, they gave out these signs that once they enrolled in our programs, they're holding their ground because. They're not making much more dirt these days anymore, so we should probably keep what we have and keep it on the ground.
Try to hold on to it and keep it right there. Well, if there's a local grower listening right now who hasn't quite had the opportunity to talk to you and Chris at NRCS yet, Logan, you guys are easy to find.
Oh, yeah. Just come right in the office or give us a call. And Dennis, you're going to be very disappointed in me. I still don't know the office number.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely come on in the office and we can see what we can do. Just because, we're not NRCS always takes applications. But with this current sign up, the equip application is over for this year, and that's hand me a piece of paper. Give us a call at 320-251-7800 extension 3.
There we go.
One more time, that's 320-251-7800 extension 3. And now we'll get somebody on the ground for you guys. We like to be out in the field with you. We don't want to talk about it in the office, but if you prefer to come in the office, we'll definitely take your time.
Make it happen there as well. Logan, Jake, and Dennis, we're going to take a break. We have much more to come on Sara's Party Line. Party Line today brought to you by Wimmer Opticians and Chiropractic Connection. Talking Stearns County Soil and Water with Dennis Fuchs, Jake Cleys, and Logan Berg. Dennis, I've been dying to ask how the 75th anniversary party was.
Oh, it was so wonderful.
That's all you got? It was 4 words. 75 years encapsulated in 4 words.
No, we had an open house on October 8th over at the Marketplace Mall in our conference room, and we had a nice showing of retired employees and supervisors, and some of our partners and landowners also showed up. The folks that showed up, we had access to cake, and some good memories were shared visiting with other folks. And then afterwards...
I was going to say, hold on, Kirby. You should have asked them what the after party was, not what the 75th anniversary was. Sorry, Dennis, you go ahead.
Shocking. Dennis found his way to an after party.
We did end up having happy hour over at the Backshed Brewery, where some other folks joined us there. Happy hour. Hours.
Hours. There we go.
Well,
it's like when people say it's a single digits. It's like, well, if it's digits and there's a single, it'd only be one. Yeah. So you saying you went to a happy hour, but you were there for more than an hour?
Yeah.
It means it was happy hours.
Happy hours. You are correct, Kirby. Yeah. It's like saying you're going to stop for one.
Or I'm going to go uptown for one, till one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was great. So our official anniversary date is October 28th. We were formed in 1949. As a lot of listeners know, during the 30s, they were known as the Dirty 30s with the Dust Bowl. They created the Soil Conservation Service, and it was a federal-led development, but what they really wanted was local soil water conservation districts to be developed across the United States to help have the local input and local priorities identified by people that live and work and recreate in that area. So that's the reason why the Stearns County Soil Water District was created back in 1949. So I've been there for 28 years, and I just want to share with the listeners, when I started, I had a board of supervisors that hired me, and that included Urban Spanier, Jerry Bechtold, Don Oddie, Ray Warga, and Victor Willenbring. I'm sure a lot of the listeners recognize those names. None of those folks are with us anymore, bless their hearts. They were fantastic supervisors and farmers and landowners, and just really helped guide me and the rest of our team in protecting our resources here in Stearns County. So thanks to all the listeners that were able to join us for our 75th. We're hoping we can do another 75 years of work. And the challenges are not getting any less. As you can see with the weather, it's not getting any more stable. When we come off of a couple years of drought, and then we have massive rain events spring and summer, and now we're moving into another dry period. Having that opportunity to hold that water in the soil profile by improving soil health, by reducing tillage, and diversifying your crop rotation, and even including cover crops if you can, is a way we do that. We had a private well testing event yesterday at Bruton, so I took a different route out and a different route back.
Good Stearns County boy. You got to take 2 different trips.
Yeah.
See more farmland.
Exactly.
Genius play.
So I took County Road 32 once I got past south of Avon there and caught that by St. Martin. And it's amazing. You see a lot more crop residue being left on the surface, a little less tillage. There are areas where you've got a farmer that's got a lot of residue, and then adjacent to it, you can see a very little residue. And when I started, there was a lot less residue across, but people are trending into leaving more residue, which is fantastic. And I think as farmers look at the adjacent neighbor and they're maintaining their yields, reducing their inputs and field cost and labor, there's some real wins in reducing that tillage. And that's the first step to improving soil health. You don't need to be going out there moldboard plowing and working it up with the disc twice this fall. No, you do not need to do that.
Is there normally a swear word that goes between the words
yes,
moldboard
I
and
would
plow?
love to swear right now, but I'm not going to.
Thank you for not doing that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on KASM. I'm
appreciate
behaving. My friends know that the plow is a 4-letter word, and but you also need to make sure that your field is set up for reduced tillage, and sometimes that might require tile drainage depending on where you are in the county. Out by Bruton, that's in the Bonanza Valley, a lot more coarse textured soils. You see irrigation out there. And with irrigation, you might also see an increased movement of nitrates through the soil into our drinking water supplies. And that's the reason why we're out at Bruton yesterday.
Water testing.
Yeah, we were testing water. And nitrates and chlorides are 2 tests that we ran because they can be run very quickly. And we had over 120 samples that were brought in. We had very few samples that were exceeding the drinking standard for nitrates.
Good.
10 part per million is the drinking standard. If it exceeds that, you could really impact the health of infants. It ties up the oxygen in their blood, and they can get blue baby syndrome. And we were very pleased to see that we did not see a lot of high numbers of nitrates out there.
How often do you do these events?
This year we did 2 of them. The first one was at the Boho Cafe in Holdingford, and we had a really good turnout there. And then the second one was yesterday at the Bruton Pavilion in Bruton. And there again, we had a good showing of water samples, over 120 of them tested, which is awesome. As a private well owner, this is one of the few opportunities that you get a free water test. And it's a good thing to do. This is what you're drinking every day. You'd probably like to know if there's any contaminants in there because you don't want to start acting goofy.
There were some off-air tequila stories we heard in the lobby. We would like to try to eliminate those states of mind, essentially.
Yeah, so it is very important that folks test their water, and we provide this service to basically increase your awareness. And then if you do have nitrates or chlorides in your drinking water supply, that's usually an indicator that you could have other contaminants. Arsenic is something that you can't predict with nitrates. That varies across the county, and you really need to test for arsenic in your well at least once. If you got it or you don't have it. And Trout Wells was also there yesterday with us, and they were providing a reduced cost for the arsenic test. I think it was $20 for the sample, which is great to know. And if you got that, they can provide a treatment process for removing arsenic from your drinking supply. So there again, just a great opportunity to test your well and know what you're drinking every day.
And it's nice, getting that peace of mind, knowing that the water you're intaking on a daily basis, multiple times a day, is good and clean. And it's nice of you guys to provide those events. You had you also wanted to, before we start talking with these guys again, you wanted to bring up Election Day 2 weeks from this past Tuesday, Dennis, and there's an environmental question on the ballot this year.
Yes, there's a question to extend the dedication of revenue from the state-operated lottery. Anybody that buys lottery tickets, a portion of that can go to the Environment and Natural Resources
You're welcome,
Fund.
Environment. From me, personally.
Yeah. So it increases, in it, they're also going to increase the amount of money that can be spent of the fund each year from 5.5% to 7%. And create a grant program to provide funding for projects related to addressing environmental issues in affected communities, environmental education, and natural resource conservation. So I'm asking the listeners to vote yes on that amendment to help support some of the work that we do. And I'll just bring up a couple of the programs where we use those dollars here in Stearns County. We received a grant from the Environment Natural Resources Trust Fund, which is the lottery proceeds, to evaluate Kernza, a new perennial crop, intermediate wheatgrass, in our Cold Spring wellhead management area where they're seeing elevated levels of nitrates. We are able to examine that crop in the Cold Spring area, and then also did a research project out at Rosholt at Westport, a demonstration farm there with the University of Minnesota, and we determined that this Kernza perennial basically allows zero nitrates through the soil profile as it rains, and nitrate likes to move into our drinking water supply, like I mentioned earlier. Well, this crop, Kernza, does a fantastic job of cleaning up that water and sequesters the nitrates and uses it for its own plant development. So that was using the LCCMR Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund dollars to help examine that. And it's a great project. We got some really good information. We also worked with the Ag Utilization Research Institute, AURI. Some of you folks may have heard of that group. They're trying to find additional value to the crops that we can grow here in Minnesota, provide more opportunity for our rural economies to grow. And there again, they're using this Kernza product to create whiskeys, beers, food products. General Mills created a cereal using Kernza. And as we continue to increase the market, the demand for the product will grow. And then the University of Minnesota, through the Forever Green, is looking at the agronomic and breeding components to make it more a viable product, easier to grow for our farmers here in central Minnesota. So that was just one of the projects. Another one was some dollars to accelerate conservation technical assistance to farmers that would like to apply for Conservation Reserve Program, CRP, or to evaluate non-productive areas on their fields and put them into a set-aside program like the CRP. And that helped staff our team with those dollars. So these are lottery funds, people that like to buy lottery tickets. A portion of those goes back to helping this here, providing the funds for doing special projects like this. And there's been numerous types of projects like this funded with everything from invasive species to carp management to helping wildlife habitat in other ways. So your vote would be much appreciated. And it was passed 25 years ago, and it was over 80% of the population of Minnesota approved it. And I'm really hoping that we see that type of support here in Stearns County for continuing these efforts using those trust fund dollars.
And it was 5.5 to 7 was the difference in.
Yeah, so because it's been doing very well, they're looking at using a little more of those funds for the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund.
And for the third time, this is lottery funds. This is not tax.
Yes, this is lottery funds. These are not federal funds. They're not federal lottery dollars. These are our local Minnesota state lottery funds where people voluntarily buy a ticket, and a portion of those ticket funds goes toward these trust fund natural resource projects. So your support would be much appreciated, and it goes until 2050, and there's a lot of work that we can be doing in evaluating new crops and new opportunities to protect both our ag systems and wildlife systems and our drinking water supplies.
Logan, want to go buy a couple of lottery tickets?
No comment.
It's got to get close to $1 billion, and it's like, oh yeah, I think I'm going to get a ticket now.
I'm making this clear. As a federal employee, I am not advising anyone go out and buy a federal lottery ticket.
This message brought to you by the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation
There you go.
District, reminding you to gamble wisely. Don't bet money you don't have. So, but a great opportunity and a great program, and well said, Dennis. So hopefully, like you said, in a couple Tuesdays, we do get a yes. On
That'd be awesome.
That would be great. We don't need the 80% either, just 51.
Yeah,
that's all we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Logan, before we kick you guys out of here, we got about 10 minutes left. It's Logan Berg, Jake Cleys, and Dennis Fuchs here on Aunt Sarah's Partyline. Logan, going into, you talked about your winter not being an off season, people thinking this is your guys' vacation time. You're almost as busy, if not more busy, once you get into that winter with planting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially like anywhere from Halloween to planting season. This is our busy time.
Sure.
If we had an off season, it's mainly July when it's hot outside and we're checking CRPs. But even then, yeah, that's our field time. At that point, we only have so much time to go out in the field. And then after that, then we go right back into getting contracts, getting applications, and going again. Yep. So we get it's one of those. Okay, we're good. Now let's go.
Made it through.
Yep.
Logan, when you look at going into the opportunity for local growers right now to even get some financial help from NRCS. You guys have plenty of opportunities to look into at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So what they did this year is, because we're still in the 2018 Farm Bill, they just reinstated, mainly because it was due to an election year, they're not going to be able to pass the new Farm Bill in time after the election. So what they ended up doing was they're providing all landowners now an additional $450,000 for the fiscal year 2025. So that's your whole Farm Bill revenue. So a lot of people don't know that. So that kind of just slid underneath the table at the last time our Congress was in session. So what people don't know is, you have
Congress would never do that. What are you talking about?
Never do that ever. So what they do is we have an additional $450,000 per grower now that they can use to put conservation on the ground, which is, we're trying to get that news out there. But with election year and everything else, and everyone's busy with harvesting and whatnot, people kind of miss that boat on that. But it's never too late.
So something that you'd like to remind listeners that is still out there.
It is still out there. We're still ready to take your application, or if you just want to talk, let's get boots on the ground. Let's go out and let's get her done.
And that's the beauty of it, Logan, is the opportunity where it's that, people are busy. You got the harvest and stuff like that. I mean, I know Dennis has been working on his Halloween costume for a month and a half right now, and he still hasn't quite got it buttoned up.
What? I thought it looked pretty good.
You good?
I got it on right now.
You got your mask on? But just the fact that, yes, life does happen, but the opportunity to take a 20-minute phone call, or even you guys could meet up. You guys love going to the farm. If you wanted to meet up and talk, there is still that chance to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're building relationships with these producers. This ain't a one meeting and done deal. No, I like to almost be on first name basis with every producer I work with, just so because we're not the enemy. We're not enforcement. If we were enforcement, I probably wouldn't be working for the NRCS. We are 100% voluntary. We are here for the farmer. We work for the farmer, and that's why I love my job, doing what we do. But then going on the words conservation, there's always that old verbiage that says the only good day to plant a tree was yesterday. So the same thing with putting cover crops, doing minimal till. Let's get that done yesterday rather than. But if you need some help for tomorrow, we can do that too.
And Jake, if you could grab the mic, when you've talked with local growers and stuff, you getting kind of that, we've been thinking about it, but we were, maybe in a year or two where you guys kind of scratch your head like, well, why don't we try something now? Even if it's, these guys always like to joke, maybe a back corner of the lot, basically, that the neighbor can't see. If you wanted to start small, start small.
Absolutely, Kirby. That's part of the name of the game, I guess. Yeah, a lot of these producers, it's hard to give up what granddad and dad were doing on the farm. And sometimes that fits really well with the SWCD's mission and the NRCS's mission, and sometimes it's not. And so my job is never to convince anybody to do anything. It's to suggest a possible option for you to try something new that might benefit you in the long run.
Just giving them an opportunity.
Exactly. Yep, talking the options.
Yeah. And that's the fun part, too, because no farm's the same. And just because if it worked for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And if it didn't work for somebody, also means it's not going to not work for you as well.
Absolutely, yeah, Kirby, that's exactly it.
So when you talk with these local growers and you talked about, Grandpa always said do this, where it's like, well, this there's different changes. It is 2024 now for another 2.5 months where you have the opportunity to advance a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Grandpa had different equipment, and they knew different things back then. So we got a lot more science now behind growing, and we know a few more things, and our equipment got a lot bigger. We're not out there with our 2 horsepower plow anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
so there's just a lot more factors that go into it now, and a lot more background knowledge we have to make some more educated decisions.
Fuji, I always get a bang out of it. You brought your Farm Family of the Year in here 2 years ago. They were the St. Augusta
Janskis.
The Janskis. And they told the story so well where Dad was like, you guys are I'm not doing this. And they like, Dad, come on, let's try a little bit. And then they showed the results, and it was like, hey, maybe we should go a little more. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
See, Dad, we told you. And just that kind of, not the aha moment, but just kind of that there is room for improvement.
Yeah, they definitely have continued in that direction, and the dad now is definitely fully,
he's all in now.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
It's a tough wall to beat down.
It is. It's tough, and like you say, start small, try a little spot, and a lot of times it's difficult though. Like if you have a lot of crop residue. And then you've got a planter that's set up for no residue, and then you move into an area where it does have residue. It's a little more difficult in those situations, especially like falling corn residue. But there is an opportunity out there to try it.
Dennis, we had an off-air question circling back to the water. They called it the water bill. That's more of a – is that what they're calling it? Or is this the environmental bill.
The amendment on ballot. I'm not sure if they call it the water bill.
Regardless, it was written to me as, if the water bill doesn't pass, do we lose those programs? It's basically, it's going to be 5.5% or it's going to be 7%, right?
They're increasing it from 5 to 7 in the amendment, and my knowledge is would lose it.
But through those opportunities you had talked about in Cold Spring, would those go away or just be reduced?
They would not be possible with the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund dollars in the future. We'd have to find other funds for projects like that, which would take it away from other folks.
So the answer would be we would lose those programs.
Yes.
There we go. Ooh, a little scare tactic from Dennis Fuchs right here. Vote yes.
Yeah. Vote yes.
For your future.
Yes.
What do we miss? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to bring up, a lot of people a lot of farmers will be applying fertilizer, and they should really be waiting until the soil temps hit 50 degrees before they apply manure or anhydrous.
Well, they're not waiting for that. I can smell it already.
Yeah, so if they can. So I looked at the 6-inch soil temp over by Paynesville. They've got the underground network of soil monitors throughout the state with the Minnesota Department of Ag, and it was bouncing between 52 and 60. And the way it looks after, basically today already, you can tell the temps have dropped. And we should be moving into the safe zone here next week relatively quickly. But if you do want to check that, this Google soil inch temperatures, a 6-inch soil inch temperatures in Minnesota, and you'll pop up in the Minnesota Department of Ag website. Also, no fall fertilizer nitrogen should be applied in some areas in Stearns County, and that includes the coarse textured soils along the Sauk River, the Bonanza Valley, like I mentioned earlier, out by Brute and Belgrade, and where they irrigate a lot, and then also the Anoka Sand Plain, which is over by Kimball, up the Mississippi River toward Rice. That is an area where no fall fertilizer nitrogen application should be happening. And also, Cold Spring and Melrose are seeing elevated nitrate levels in their drinking water supply for the community. And within that drinking water supply management area, no nitrogen fertilizer should be applied in the fall. So that's just a reminder. A lot of our producers already know this, but I'm just sharing that in case there's a new producer or somebody that had too much tequila.
Logan, what was the shooting score on Tuesday between you and this guy?
Oh, well, me and Dennis shoot sporting clays on Wednesday nights.
Oh, Wednesday night, sorry.
Yep. By the we had a little fun shoot a couple weeks ago, and I don't know what, Dennis, what did you get, a 32?
It was
Out
in
of
the
50?
30s. Yeah,
Yeah.
I try not to remember it.
And then I made the mistake of missing one. I shot a 49 out of 50, and then.
And he let you hear about that one, didn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how many did you hit again?
Not the 18 he missed.
Right, absolutely.
Just
yeah,
the one you
just
missed.
the one.
Yeah, 49 out of 50. So
Speaking
Logan,
of room for
We were
improvement,
talking about cuss words, Yeah, he
Saw a couple?
Yeah,
Heard a couple out
he
there?
heard a couple from
Logan,
me and him.
Logan's not even on our regular sporting clays team. He's on a different team, and his team that wasn't shooting that night, and he joined us. And nobody on our team has ever shot a 49. He comes in and shoots a 49. It's like, get out of here
with a new gun.
Who invited this guy?
Yeah, right.
Dennis, get some new friends or something. Logan, do you have that piece of paper to give that phone number once more? Otherwise, Dennis could read it.
Oh, that's all right. I think I can find it here real quick.
Okay.
So yeah,
If
if
anyone go ahead.
if anyone wants to just try no-till or try no fall tillage, I bet anyone in Stearns County can probably get it done, and just do it like Dennis was saying. Do it on the back 5 acres. You don't even have to do it in a 40. Just see what happens to it. But if you need to get in contact with us, you can definitely call us at 320-251-7800 extension 3.
There we go. Logan,
Yes,
welcome
sir.
back. Jake, nice meeting you. And Dennis, adios
All right, we'll see you soon.
to the tequila, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's